So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Main Street Accelerator information session. My name is Savannah Blance Maria. I'm the programs coordinator here at Connecticut Main Street Center, and I am thrilled to be launching or introducing the launch of our third annual Main Street Accelerator program. In today's information session, we'll go over the goals of the program, what to expect, and the application process. And there will be time at the end of the session to answer your questions. But before we begin, we have just a few words. For those unfamiliar, Connecticut Main Street Center is the expert resource for developing and sustaining vibrant downtowns and main streets that fuel our state's prosperity. It is our mission to assess, educate, and convene around the topics central to creating thriving downtowns so that main streets all around the state can develop, grow, and prosper. We are so grateful to our sponsors and funding partners that make this work possible, including Connecticut Main Street Center's founding sponsors are Eversource and the State of Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development, and the 2026 Accelerator Program and grants are supported by Webster Bank. With that, I'll hand it over to Kristen.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kristen Lopez. I am the Senior Director of Programs here at Connecticut Main Street Center, and very excited to share with you this 2026 Main Street Accelerator cohort. We are entering into our third year. So if you've attended these information sessions in the past or have been keeping your eye out on this program, we've actually made some changes this year based on the last 2 years of feedback. So we're excited to announce those to you all today. And before we get into the nitty-gritty of the program, what to expect, and some stories of successful past cohort teams, wanted to just tell you all about why we created this program. And we created this program really to address 3 big goals that we saw that needed some extra support in the field. So our first goal is to increase everyone's kind of knowledge and familiarity with Main Street management and downtown management. Many of you on the call today are economic development professionals, and so you have this really wide view of economic development, and there's a lot of nuances and a lot of big things at play. And Main Street management is very grassroots, it's very narrow, it's very niche, and there's some really great best practices that have been in play for decades now across the nation. And we want to make sure that everyone here doing work in their downtown is familiar with those tools and methodologies. Our second goal of this program is to build the capacity of local teams that are shepherding, that are stewarding their Main Street. Downtown management is a team sport. If it's on just one person, things can quickly fall apart as the scope of a Main Street manager is really, really large. And so we wanted to create this space where teams can get together, learn to work with each other in a more concrete way, not an abstract, we're just, meeting monthly to talk about our problems in Main Street, but meeting to work together and to solve a problem in your downtown. Which then brings us to our third goal of the program, which is ultimately we want to empower communities to implement a small incremental project that will move the needle in your downtown. And those projects, as we'll get into some examples and some kind of constraints that we have around those projects, they're meant to be small. These are not meant to be huge revitalization projects or streetscape projects. These are projects really to get your team a quick win so that you can move on and build momentum on bigger and bigger projects in your downtown. Next slide, please. Next slide, Savannah. Oh, thank you. Sorry, delay there. And all of this work that we're doing is rooted in our principles. And so if you've ever attended one of our webinars or events, you've seen this graphic before. On the outside ring, these are the 6 qualities of a vibrant community. These are what we all want to see in our downtowns. There's the sustainable future. There's investment in diverse economy. It's easy to get around. There's a unique sense of place. It's welcoming and inclusive to all. And there's a dedicated steward and civic engagement around there. And to cultivate these great qualities, we use the 4 points of Main Street management to get those done. And that's economic vitality, design, promotion, and organization. And so throughout this program of Main Street Accelerator, we're going to be hitting on all of these components here. So now I want to play a video for you of highlighting some of our past cohorts and their experience in the program.
It'd be a great opportunity for any communities to take a part of this Main Street Accelerator program. They will be guided through whatever they see as the inspiration for their own towns. There's always opportunity for growth. We just need to find our way.
Main Street Accelerator is a professional development and team building program centered on helping local teams execute small-scale projects that will make incremental, positive change to their downtown.
The biggest impact that our downtown has had by participating in the Main Street Accelerator is having a structure for all of the ideas and the goals that we have. We were provided with the mentorship and the structure to be able to get them done in a more effective way.
In this 6-month program, participants will learn and practice the nationally proven 4-point approach to Main Street management, strategies for sustainable and inclusive development, project management, community engagement, team management, program evaluation, and fundraising.
Actually having something to walk away from the 6 months that's tangible and something to show what the investment of our time was is very valuable. And not only for us personally, but also then to be able to show the town.
I'd say the impact that we felt here in Norwich from the Main Street Accelerator program was an influx in activity and participation from the public. We saw a lot of people giving feedback, more feedback than we've ever gotten, and things moving a lot faster, especially because of the accelerator. It's structured in a way that we can understand where our next move is and what to do next.
The teams will receive the framework, guidance, and accountability to see their vision come to life.
The impact is going to be seen. Our town is already loaded with some wonderful amenities, and it feels as though this accelerator program gave us a real obvious positive to focus on, with the program bringing people into our downtown district that are normally not there.
One of the biggest takeaways from this program has been being able to expand our processes and our projects to the wider community.
The Main Street Accelerator program is open to all Connecticut communities with a Main Street, downtown, village center, or commercial corridor. We will select up to 5 teams through an application process. Applications open this September, and we look forward to seeing yours.
Excellent. So let's get into a little bit more about what this program is all about and what you can expect in that. Next slide, Savannah. So a brief timeline of what we're looking at is that our applications actually open today. They will be due in November, and you'll be notified beginning of December if you've been accepted into this cohort, which then in January is our kickoff of the program. And so there are 6 monthly sessions here, and the first one in January will be in person, and the other in-person session will be in April. So we will have 6 sessions in total. The other 4 will be virtual. Next slide, please. And as mentioned in the video, we'll be covering a lot of different topics in these 6 months. So we'll be going over Main Street Management 101, but we'll be really focused on developing a really thoughtful action plan that is incorporating things like community engagement, fundraising, budgeting, data collection, and a lot more. We'll be looking very holistically at how we can put together a project from multiple different angles, not just to get it off the ground, but even into its future and the maintenance of the project. And this year, we're really excited to introduce case studies as a big kind of approach to learning and practicing these principles. And so we'll be using case studies that are based on real life examples to guide us through in our learning here. All of the virtual sessions will be about an hour and a half long. Our in-person sessions will be a bit longer to accommodate, the in-person nature, but they will be action-packed and very interactive. Savannah, can you tell us more about the program and other aspects to it?
Yes, certainly. So, Main Street Accelerator exists to help you launch a project that will positively impact your downtown. And it's not meant to be just an intellectual exercise, but to provide practical steps and training to help you accomplish the work that your Main Street or downtown needs. And there are two big deliverables that are designed to be real life applications of the concepts that you're going to be learning in the program. So, an action plan that will guide your team to implement your project. That's one deliverable. And then there's also a one-page flyer that you can use to promote your project. And for both of these projects that you're going to be working on, you will receive guidance and personalized coaching sessions. And we provide templates for you that you'll have the opportunity to share with your peers to get feedback. And just about the coaching sessions, 2 of them will be virtual and 1 will also be in person. And an extra level of helping the team stay on track and practicing good habits is taking meeting minutes, which we'll provide the templates for. And of course, if you need any support from other than the ways I've outlined here, the coaches are also here to help you address any questions or concerns. Just reach out to us at any point in the program. During the program, you'll also have access to a suite of resources to help you along the way. You'll receive a comprehensive guidebook filled with templates to help you plan and execute your project each month, along with exercises related to the content of that month. You'll also get a login to our downtown resource library. This is something that members typically only have access to, but while you're participating in the program, your participation will include an access to this downtown resource library. The library includes a search function where you can search for topics and resources that are relevant to your projects. And then, of course, you'll have access to the community forum where you can connect with your program peers. A part of Main Street Accelerator is that you'll have an opportunity to be eligible for a $5,000 grant. There are some requirements that go along with the grant. So there's a few things that you have to do during the program in order to be eligible for this grant, such as meeting the attendance requirements and the other program requirements, and also completing all of the program deliverables. And I'll pass it back over to you, Kristen.
So now we're at a point in the evolution of this program where we have a lot of great success stories underway here. So I want to highlight 3 for you. The first one I want to highlight is Georgetown Village Restoration. They were in our inaugural cohort back in 2024. And GVR is a volunteer-run nonprofit that is focused on Georgetown's Main Street, which is out by Reading and Connecticut and borders 3 other towns there. This team was made up of board members, nonprofit board members that included business owners and engaged residents. And so they used the program and their grant money to launch a Georgetown themed merchandise line to strengthen the identity, the connectivity, and overall visibility of the Main Street and also the organization. And this project was wildly successful and had many unintentional positive outcomes to everyone's really pleasant surprise. Some of those unintentional outcomes included the municipality kind of engaging with this Georgetown Village restoration in a much kind of higher level. And then also profits from their merchandise sales were used to help two businesses when they were damaged by floods. And there was a lot of other kind of unanticipated outcomes that you can read about actually in the newly published article on Main Street America's blog, which we were very excited to see them post this success. This went out to 11,000 email subscribers across the country and 60,000 social media followers. So this is actually another benefit of the Main Street Accelerator program is visibility that you will get at being part of it. Local media often picks up our press releases that we put out and other kind of benchmarks and milestones along the way. And then other venues of publicity, like for example, of course, we have the blog here from Main Street America that we'll also include a link to in this recap. It's a great story, it's inspirational, and you also can hear a little bit more about how Main Street Accelerator really helped them with their project. But we also ended up doing a spotlight in Georgetown, was that 2 falls ago? Similarly, we just did a spotlight in Thomaston. That was another one of our graduates out of Main Street Accelerator just this earlier this month. So that's one avenue of visibility that you can get through this program. Savannah, next slide. Next to highlight is Norwich. They assembled a team primarily out of the Norwich Community Development Corporation that also had some city participation in there as well. And similar, they also received a lot of visibility through local media. And additionally, Representative Courtney actually invited them to their office where they could share more about their project and about the program. So it's just another level of showing visibility in your community. And the Norwich team came to us with really a big kind of problem that they wanted to solve, which was negative perception. And through one of the exercises of root cause analysis that we'll go through, they determined that a really kind of big piece is around beautification, and people maybe not seeing their city as beautiful, and that's an area where they can focus on. And so part of their project, it was twofold, was one, engaging the community around doing this crosswalk painting by the library, which brought out the community, allowed for a lot more community engagement to talk about the downtown. And it also enabled them to prototype some new wayfinding signage that was branded for the downtown, and to think through where they need to put those wayfinding signages to create a more welcoming downtown environment. Next slide. And lastly, we have here downtown Bridgeport. They were part of our latest cohort in 2025. Their team was made up of the DSSD, the City Planning Department, Groundwork Bridgeport, which is a local nonprofit, and the Bridgeport Arts Council. And so again, they came to the program with a goal of wanting to create an entrepreneurial ecosystem that really supported new and existing businesses to expand and grow into vacant storefronts throughout Bridgeport's downtown. And so they are using their grant money to pilot a pop-off food hall concept in the arcade building, which ultimately they really want to activate that space into being a food hall. Next slide, please. And so as part of your application to Main Street Accelerator, we ask you to identify in your application if you're coming to identify a large challenge that you have in your downtown. So that could be things like negative perception, too many vacancies, you want to increase your foot traffic, or you want to build up your small business support and connections there. So you can come with just a challenge. You don't have a clue how you're going to address that yet. This program will help you think through projects that will help you address that challenge. Or you can come to the program with a specific project in mind, like programming a vacant space, launching, a farmer's market, doing some different arts and culture programming there. The one thing to know is that we will not hold you to this project throughout the program. We actually encourage that your project changes and pivots, and so that you really get a great product at the end for a project that's going to make the most impact for your downtown. So you do not have to feel that you are locked in on a specific even challenge or project that you put on your application. We just want to know where your head's at right now and how you're going to be entering the program. The biggest thing is that this project that you end up thinking of should really not have a budget larger than $10,000. The grant eligibility will be a grant up to $5,000. So ideally, it would be a project that could fit within that $5,000. Or if not, if you're able to match that $5,000, for a project up to $10,000. Right, Savannah.
Okay, so now let's talk about eligibility to apply for the program. Main Street Accelerator is a perfect fit for communities with an identified challenge or opportunity that has a public support but needs organization guidance and extra attention. And we'll talk a little bit more about this in a moment. But the program is open to all Connecticut communities with a Main Street downtown village center or commercial corridor. We encourage both members and non-members of Connecticut Main Street to apply. Main Street management is collaborative in nature. Each community must form a team of 3 to 6 dedicated stakeholders who are ready to roll up their sleeves and get to work. Each team must include in their application at least one letter of support. Applications are now open and are due no later than November 21st. This year, we have incorporated 2 new items to the application and acceptance process. We now require that all teams include at least one letter of support. If the team lead is a municipal entity, at least one letter of support must come from the chief elected official, such as the mayor, town manager, or first selectman. If the team lead is a nonprofit organization, the letter must be from the board chair. Also new this year is the participation pledge, which I will explain more about in just a moment. But if you have any questions about the program, the application, or the type of project or challenge you want to focus on, please do not hesitate to reach out to me at savannah@connecticutmainstreet.com. Teams will be notified of the acceptance by December 5th, and the program officially launches in early January at an in-person kickoff event where we will also cover month 1 content. And I'll just quickly go over the new participant pledge. So this is new to the program this year. Essentially, each member of the teams that are selected to participate will receive a copy of the document to sign and return by December 5th. The document is designed to keep each team member accountable and indicate their level of participation and indicate that they understand their level of participation is directly correlated to grant eligibility at the end of the program. Lastly, we invite you to register for our fall summit, The Power of Place, Placemaking Strategies for Downtowns and Main Streets. Registration is available now on the Connecticut Main Street Center website. And as we close out, I'd like to open the floor to any questions from the audience. And thank you so much for your time. We look forward to seeing your application. And you'll also get the application link in your inbox. But now we're here to answer any questions that you might have. So feel free to put those into the Q&A or the chat.
As we wait for some questions to come in, one thing I just really want to highlight is the biggest feedback that we get from past cohorts of why they love this program so much is truly around the accountability and support structure that the program gives you. As I see a lot of individuals on this call, you already have full-time jobs, you already have a million things on your plate. This program really holds you accountable and gives you that space to work on this one project, this one thing on your main street. So that really is the big benefit that we hear over and over again from any of our communities. Also, I see here kind of a mix of different communities that we have. This program can work well for a Main Street team that is just getting off the ground. Maybe in the past there were some revitalization efforts that kind of are being laying dormant for a while. This is a great way to re-energize that. Or if you're coming from a place that has a established Main Street program, this program can serve several different things. One, it can serve as a way to engage new and different volunteers to get some new excitement and energy and thought around a project or a challenge. And three, it could be a really great refresher for you. And again, providing you the space to maybe work on that project that's been on your pet to-do list for a really long time, but you haven't had the chance to really put your attention to it because you've been focused on all the day-to-day operations. So there's a lot of applicability to this program.
I'll read this question that just came through, Kristen. The time commitment of 6 meetings may be a barrier for stakeholder participants. Are all project partners required to attend all meetings? Can you review the meeting attendance requirement? I want to be able to present real expectations to potential partners.
Yeah,
this
is a great question. And this one is one that we're balancing two things. I'll just give you kind of our philosophy on this. So one is that we know a lot of potential partners and volunteers that are working on this could be business owners, could have a full-time job. And so they have obligations during the day that makes it hard for them to attend the meetings live. On the other hand, what we have seen is that, there's a group of 5 people that start out, and then there's that one person who's holding the project together at the end of it. And that is not what we're intending for this, exercise, this program to be. We really want to see the team work together. And so that is partly why we have implemented a new component to this program, which is meeting minutes. And so through the 6-month program, we will require your team to submit at least 5 meeting minutes to show that the whole team was together and actually working together on the project. And so I say all that to address your question here is that, of course, we'd want everyone to attend live. We know that life happens and there's other obligations, and so that may not be possible. We do require, though, communication in advance if a meeting cannot be made, so that we understand that that person is still engaged, just can't make that one meeting. I think I mentioned everything will be recorded, so that will be available there. But in developing that team, we really do want to see a group of folks that are, going to be engaged with you throughout the project. And just, you're not just getting their signature, as part of kind of the application process, but they actually want to be involved. But we can talk with you. Oh, there's this other component on the application process. We will ask you for what kind of availability will most likely work for you and your team. This by no means guarantees that, we're going to find the perfect time slot that works for everyone. That's just impossible. We all know that. But we will take that into consideration and potentially move around the times of day to make it a little bit easier, even day of the week, to make it easier to accommodate for as many schedules as possible. Though we'll want to keep it somewhat consistent. Yes, I hope that answered your question there. And if there's any other specific kind of in-depth questions, you can always reach out to us and we'll provide a more tailored response.
Thank you, Kristen. The next question is, are there any particular types of projects or challenges that would not be good candidates for this program, even if they fit within the budget and timeline constraints?
Yeah, so anything that's a one-off initiative. So a festival, that even if it's going to be periodic, like every year, a festival is not a good fit. We want to see ultimately a solution that will be able to be implemented, over time, and consistently to have ripple effects in the downtown.
Next question is the grant a given at the end, or do you have to apply for that as a separate process at the end? Great question.
Yeah, so essentially, there are several kind of milestones within the program that you'll have to meet in order to be eligible for the grant. So, one, there is a marketing flyer for the project that needs to be complete. There's an action plan that needs to be complete. And then, of course, there's the attendance requirement that we just talked about, which we can work with you depending on the situation, but if we find that ultimately there's been only one person doing all of the work and there's not much of a team, that would put the team at jeopardy from really being eligible for that grant. So it isn't a given. There you do need to meet some additional requirements. Those additional requirements are on the website, and those will be reiterated also throughout the program. So you won't be surprised.
Perfect. And how many cohorts are accepted? Is there a requirement to interact between cohorts?
So we'll be accepting 5. We like to keep it small. And there's no particular requirements to interact with between cohorts. However, in our monthly sessions, we'll use the time for you to break into small groups with other members in other cohorts to get diversity of perspective and thinking from other towns around the state.
Do partners such as business owners gain access to the CT Main Street Center? Do they gain membership? So I think they're
So
talking about the online portal and such and our membership.
yeah, so they will have access to the downtown resource library. So they can have access to all of those resources, and they will also have access to the community platform. But in terms of if you are an existing Connecticut Main Street Center member, if there's any sensitivities there, you are ultimately our member and we will work to serve you. So if there's any maybe potential concerns or anything going on there, we can work with you on that.
Those are all the questions we have for now. So I encourage everyone to put their final thoughts and questions into either the chat or the Q&A.
Yeah, this we really hope to see you all submit an application. Again, if you have any questions or want to think through something, please let us know. Now having done this for 2 years, it's been really exciting to see the evolution of thought and how teams have come together over the program, over the 6 months. And I should say it is a 6-month program. However, if you are eligible for the grant funding and you do get the grant funding, the project then will be implemented over that next year. And throughout that year, you'll get touch points from us and additional support and to make sure that your project is on track and things like that. So you can kind of think it's 6 months plus a year if you get the grant funding. But ultimately, right, we're here for you every step of the way. And yeah, we're really excited for this next cohort. As I mentioned, we've taken a lot of feedback from the last 2 years and made some changes to this year. So we're really excited to see how that will resonate and land with you all. And I guess just one last point I think I want to just bring up here. Again, recognizing kind of the diversity of the members of the team that we potentially will have coming through. A lot of you are professionals, and so some of this material will be a refresher for you. And for other individuals who are that engaged business owner who wants to get more involved in the community, it could be brand new material for them. And so there's also this level of kind of peer mentorship and an opportunity to share what has worked, and that really becomes like a really beautiful kind of just statewide, team building to share all of those that experience and wisdom.
And one more thing just came through the chat. What level of the community outreach is required?
Sheila, is this particularly as part of the program? So I'll answer, and you can define that more if I don't answer it satisfactorily. But so the project, the program itself doesn't have a community outreach component to it. However, your project might. So it will depend on your project what level of community outreach is needed. And you could also very much find that in the program, you're really just focused on building out your project plan, your action plan, and kind of that next year of implementing that plan is when you will be doing more community outreach. So again, the program itself doesn't have a community outreach requirement, but your project most likely on some level will have a level of community outreach.
Okay, just looking to see if anybody's gonna put any other questions into the chat or the Q&A. But on the screen is my email address, so you feel free to reach out to me. Oh, we got another thought.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. The town can incorporate nonprofit organizations too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Having that cross section of stakeholders being part of your team is really important and makes this team stronger for sure. Great.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, my email address is there at the bottom of the screen. So please do feel free to reach out to me with any questions. Also, you could go on our website, ctmainstreet.org. There's a tab under what we do or how we help. You'll find information about Main Street Accelerator. It gets into some of the more specific questions that are on the application. If you want to review those before you decide to apply. And we're happy to answer any questions. Just reach out to me, Savannah, or Kristen.
Excellent. Thank you all so much. We really look forward to learning more about your communities and seeing you in the program.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.